Good morning, you beautiful bastions of freedom, the BBOF reporting for duty, even on Valentine's Day, because we got some freedom to save. All right, people, listen, we got to talk about something. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Let's get into this. Did you guys see what happened? Did you see what happened with the EPA, with Lee Zeldin, with Donald Trump? Any of that? Because if you didn't, you missed something pretty interesting. So the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, has long been weaponized by the left in order to curtail businesses, issue redistributionist tactics and strategies across the entire economic scale, and then penalize businesses for anything that they deem a penalty offense, okay? So this is an interesting thing that the left does. And this is important because Donald Trump yesterday had the EPA withdraw a lot of manufacturing requirements, a lot of manufacturing environmental protection orders and actions. So what they were doing was curtailing business through onerous regulation at the EPA. The Biden administration was doing it really badly. They fully weaponized the executive branch of the government. We all know that. They did the same thing with car manufacturers. They did the same thing across the board with anything, with climate change. Any way that they could make things more difficult, they were making things more difficult. So now, with Biden being out the door, and the Trump administration coming in and taking over the EPA, they are lowering the standards that were put in place to punish business. What does that mean for businesses, for housing, manufacturing, for all these different pieces that are translating into our economy and a better environment for ourselves and the next generation? Well, what it means is you now have the ability for companies and builders and manufacturers to actually do things that the customers want, that they can actually purchase. You saw this prior with Ford, with all these different car companies. They're saying, oh, good, they dropped the requirements which were mandating us to do these certain specific things. Well, now we don't have to do those things anymore because no one was buying those items anyway. Now we can actually do something at a lower cost and something the customer will actually buy. We turn a profit as the company, and the consumers get something that they want with their demands. Isn't it weird how when you remove the regulations and the red tape and you get rid of the government overreach and the onerous regulations that were weaponized against the American population, all of a sudden supply starts to come back into the system and prices drop? Y'all, the things that are happening right now are all on the supply side. You have to understand what's happening. And I'm going to do a video on this at some point this weekend. There's lots going on, but somewhere between AOC being like, whoa, on an international stage and the lefties being lefties. We're going to fit this in here. But this is you have to understand, they are going on the supply side of stuff. Wages are going up, and they're intending to lower pricing through reduction of red tape and onerous regulations. Let me hear you in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.